intent. In Washington, George C. Marshall made known the principles of the plan that was later to bear his name.
The whole situation is critical in the extreme. But there's no doubt whatever in my mind that if we decide to do this thing, we can do it successfully. And there's also no doubt in my mind that the whole world hangs in the balance as to what it is to be in connection with what we're endeavoring to put forward here. Thank you.
Later, President Truman drove to the Capitol to put the Marshall Plan for European aid before Congress.
I'm here today to report to you on the critical nature of the situation in Europe and to recommend action for your consideration. I believe that it must be the policy of the United States.
In Europe, the response had been immediate. In Paris, world statesmen met to discuss how and where the proffered American aid could best be applied. Among the delegates was Soviet Russia's Mr. Molotov, for the Marshall Plan took no regard of politics, only human need. But for the communists, human need was their stock in trade. Such a plan could only put back their own plans of revolution by means of economic chaos. And so, out of the Paris conference stalks Mr. Molotov, to be followed by the delegates from communist Poland and Czechoslovakia. But a few dissenters could not call a halt to the greatest humanitarian step in history. And so the cargoes began to move across the Atlantic, food, grain, and raw materials. And it wasn't just a matter of feeding the hungry. From Chicago, Illinois, to Douai, France, a giant press for steel production, not only to put French mills back on their feet, but also to make them among the most modern. Truly, the power of the New World come to redress the balance of the old. In Paris, the Organization for European Economic Cooperation was set up, a council of 16 nations whose task it was to ensure that Marshall Plan aid was used to the best possible advantage, to rebuild a shattered economy and to re-establish inter-European trade on a basis of strength. By their agreement, for instance, Holland could import 3/4 of the cotton needed to keep our textile looms in full production. By their recommendation, could Britain receive the carbon black she needed to make the tires for her all-important automobile industry. Thus could France bring into her ports the sulfur needed to make fertilizers, to maintain her world-famous vineyards at their best. Then there were tractors and other equipment for Turkey to bring her agriculture into line with that of her more fortunate neighbors. Then steel for the shipyards of Italy, for Trieste, Genoa, and Naples. But over and above revitalizing Europe's economy, the Marshall Plan had longer-term aims. With its funds and technical assistance, vast areas of Italy, whole islands like Sardinia and Cyprus, became battlegrounds in the fight against the malarial mosquito. Everywhere, health teams went out to battle with the scourges of centuries. For thousands, such undertakings often meant the difference between life and death. A new hope for Europe was read in the eyes of children.